To complete this overview of next-generation space stations, it is my pleasure to invite a pioneer of the international commercial space community who laid the foundations for today's growing LEO economy. Jeffrey Manber is the co-founder of NanoRex and currently serves as senior representative to the chairman of Voyager Technologies. Please join me in welcoming Jeffrey to present Starlab.
Shalom. It's great to be here again, and I just want to say it's one of the few, we all go to a lot of space conferences, and you can feel the excitement here, and it's really wonderful to come again. It's been too long for me, but the excitement just grows and grows, so it's wonderful being here. And let me also say how exciting it is for me. I've been doing commercial space for, I don't know, too long, or, Charlie understands that, but it's how exciting it is to be here when we are discussing not whether we are going to have commercial space stations, but which ones, how many, and we're not really discussing it, but there will also be stations from India. There's a beautiful station from China, Tiangong, and how beautiful it is that now where we live in space is going to follow the revolution we've seen in launch vehicles, where we've gone from one government-operated vehicle, for humans per nation, to now nobody has any idea as to how many launch vehicles there are. And I think in a few years, we're going to certainly have many, many platforms, warehouses, space stations, and here you're being introduced to the 3 American-led teams, and I think there'll be 2 of them in orbit in the future. So I'm proud to introduce the Starlab space station. That's our submission, or our team. And we're a little different than what you just saw from Axiom and VAST, and that we decided as a business model to do a joint venture among leading companies around the world. And so what we see a strong advantage in having partners from really the nations that were the ISS partners. Our leading shareholder in Starlab is Voyager, my company. We own about 60% of Starlab LLC. We have Airbus from Europe. We have Mitsubishi from Japan, MDA from Canada, Palantir from the States, and we've just brought in Space Applications from Belgium, and we'll be announcing some new partners in the next few months. So you see what we've done is we've replicated the ISS partnership without Russia. We've replicated the ISS partnership, and we've brought to a commercial setting the industrial expertise and knowledge of these spacefaring nations. And so this is just a quick look at what each of our shareholders brings to the partnership. And this is a little more detailed than some of the other 2 presentations, but I wanted to share how much work has gone into creating a station that is not only technically feasible, but commercially sustainable. So when you look at a chart like this, one of the first things is you see the experience. One of the other things is, which we have not touched on yet, is how much capital that has to be raised. This is not inexpensive, and it's going to take more than $1 billion to bring these stations to orbit. And so at Starlab, we've already raised hundreds of millions of dollars, both from private capital markets as well as from our partners. And the more that the partners produce in terms of hardware, in terms of cash, is less than has to be raised in the private market. I should also point out that we were part of the 2nd generation after Axiom got the first award. We were part of the 2nd generation and received the most funding of over $200 million US. So here's the current status. We have announced that it's being manufactured with a new manufacturer, Voyager, in Louisiana and other states in the United States. Everything is on target. We're feeling very good technically as to where we are. And I do want to point out something meant, how should I say this, a gentle pushback on my friend Mike. We are very pleased that we are not in the ISS orbit because I don't want the hardware that's on the ISS today. I mean, no offense to all you guys and all you astronauts and all the space agencies, but that stuff is old. Okay, and I had this meeting with JAXA, and they were telling me, the Japanese Space Agency, how, you know, they want to move all their hardware into the commercial space station. And I told them, I said, I will gladly compete against you with 10-year-old biopharma hardware. We are very proud at Starlab not to be at 51 degrees. We have chosen a more sustainable orbit that saves a lot of fuel over the 30-year lifetime of these platforms. NASA calls them vehicles, which I can't do. I just can't call them a vehicle, okay? To me, they're a platform. So these platforms are being designed, Axiom, and I don't know about VAST, but Axiom and ours are being designed for 30-year lifespan. And so the orbit that you choose, we've calculated, saves us hundreds of millions of dollars. And you'll hear from me now this afternoon how over and over we're looking at what is commercially sustainable. So one of the key features is, I think the next slide, this gives you more technical specifications on Starlab. And I should say, I think we have more details on the next slide, but this platform is huge. It's 7.5 meters in diameter. There's no space station ever done, nothing that's held humans that's 7 meters, 7.5 meters in diameter. It's 8 meters tall. It's going to have 3 floors. I can't emphasize the importance of the 7 meters in diameter for research, for psychology, for mental well-being, and it's also, what's extraordinary is that, to have it here, it's a single launch to orbit. And again, we see this as one of the competitive advantages of Starlab, that it's fine to say we're going to have 3 modules or 5 modules, but those modules cost money. Each of those launches costs money, and we're talking about a single launch. We've signed the contract with SpaceX, and it will be the heaviest heaviest payload ever launched by humanity. And so that means that once we go up, in a week or 2, we'll be fully operational and fully ready. We call it the first science park in space. We have, as I said, extraordinary capability and capacity. Also, I don't think it's in this presentation, but personally, I'm also working very hard on the science park on the ground. We've announced VISTA, which is a science park in cooperation with Ohio State University, with University of North Dakota, University of Connecticut, in Zurich, Switzerland, and in Japan, because again, we're looking at what's sustainable. The hardware is good, technology is good, but this has to be sustainable. This is a commercial venture, and we know we can't go back to the space agency and say, hey, we need a little more money. And so, you know, this is it, and it's commercially sustainable, and everything is geared towards efficient use of the payloads. And I should also mention that Voyager acquired my company, Nanoracks, which I grew into the largest commercial user of the International Space Station. So embedded in Voyager is we have flown over 1,300 payloads to the International Space Station. We're very pleased and proud that we flew the Ramon Foundation mixed sticks for the high schools throughout Israel, and today we continue to work here in Israel. So we've taken our knowledge and we've taken our experience of working with NASA, with JAXA, with the Canadian Space Agency, with everybody, and we've done that in the design of Starlab. One of the examples, another example of sustainability, and this really hurts the astronauts, but we don't have any need for EVAs, for spacewalks, because spacewalks are expensive. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. You know, that's like that old commercial, Mike's walking out the room, you know, that's it, I'm out of here, you know? But not only are spacewalks dangerous, but they're also expensive. And so we've designed Starlab so there is no need for EVAs on a routine basis. Again, it's just that sort of mind shift that you do. This gives a little more detail on the capacity of Starlab. I think we're going to have the panel session. We can talk more about that. And this ties in again to the ecosystem that we're seeking to create today via the Vista Science Park, the other science park, universities. We're very, very aware at Starlab that we have to be more than a hardware company if we're going to continue to get the investments that we've been getting. And so this breaks down a little bit more of our partners, our funding sources, the customers that we have signed already. And you can just see the emphasis, again, I'm repeating and emphasizing this, the emphasis is on, we know we're going to build the space station, we know whatever technical issues we'll solve. The challenge that we see is making this commercially sustainable and finally entering the era we all want, where we see the breakthroughs in biopharma, semiconductors, as others have said, in space ag tech, thin films, optics. That's where a whole key part of Starlab and Voyager are already working. And this is a little more detail than Mike put up. This is what we're focusing on. And as others have said, it's an extremely exciting time. There are advantages to the commercial space stations that far outweigh what could be done on the International Space Station. One example is intellectual property rights on the space station, on ISS. You cannot fully own your IP. Some of it belongs to the government. It's held us back on some of the key work that pharmaceutical companies around the world have wanted to do. And so we think that we know that on a commercial space station, there are a lot of new areas that are possible, and we really, really are excited by the response of what can be done. And it pains me a little bit, but it also excites me. The Chinese have been announcing extraordinary research coming out of Tiangong. And okay, I like a challenge. You know, it's not a political challenge for me, it's a commercial challenge. And if they're announcing really, really exciting work on new nickel oxides and new elements, we can do the same and we can do it better. So this just talks about some of the contributions that Palantir we expect to make. I know that Palantir does not have an optimal reputation in some areas, but the work that they're doing in AI is extraordinary, and what they're already contributing to Starlab's logistics and operations is an entire new generation of economic efficiency. And we've announced our customer portal research hub, which will make a lot more economic efficiencies and optimize research results. These are the different classes of payloads that we've identified and are signing. We have not made public all of the customers we have signed for competitive reasons, but we are extremely satisfied and confident that we've shown that this architecture, this platform, 7 meters in diameter, a state-of-the-art. I didn't mention that Hilton. This is a good thing for the astronauts. Maybe we'll take away your spacewalks, but we have Hilton Hotels designing the crew quarters. And I was there for the first meeting where the chief architect for Hilton comes in, and they were intimidated. And all the astronauts, you know this, they're intimidated by what NASA has done, the International Space Station. And when they learned how the astronauts sleep on the station, they were in shock. And the chief architect said, "Oh, we can do better than that." Okay, so the good news is you'll be comfortable sleeping, living, and working on one of the 3 floors on Starlab. So that's it. We really appreciate the time. Look forward to the panel, and thank you very much.